Hey guys, I'm Ray, and we are streaming blacksmithing. I am going to have to put on my headphones because I can't hear myself. So today we are here out at, once again, in the carport, and we're gonna attempt to do our coal forge, or our forge weld. We are going to attempt to do our forge weld again. So exciting! Afternoon, Corwin. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for joining us today. I actually have a secondary monitor. It is actually pretty large, and I can kind of see chat, and if I squint a little bit. uh, hey, Pirates. I'm a little bit I can't really see, or I can't really see your names very well from here, but I will do my best. Thank you for joining me today. So the first thing that I'm gonna try and do is light this forge. Getting all of the stuff out here kind of takes a little bit of extra time. So I just didn't have enough time to get this guy started. So we're gonna do that first, and we've got an ad starting shortly. So I won't have it fully lit until after the ad is over anyway. So I'm gonna get started here shortly by starting up the forge, and then I'll kind of give a little bit more of an intro to what we're up to today. All right, let's see if I can't. I might need you to move the fan a little bit. I knew that I was going to do that. There we go. Much more better. Hopefully this will light relatively quickly, and we'll be able to get started today. So it is always a little bit of extra effort when I pull out the coal forge. Mostly because I have to pull everything out of the shop, and that takes a bunch of effort, and sometimes things get a little bit iffy. But we're going to do the best we can, and we should be able to get this piece forge welded. So today we are going to be welding our jacket of our and all right, we're starting to get a little bit of smoke. That means things are starting to catch just a little bit. Awesome. So we're going to be, I guess we're in ad time. So I apologize that I haven't gotten this quite down yet as far as getting the forge already lit before I start the stream. I'm trying to do it, or I don't do it enough to be completely organized about it. So unfortunately, you know. But I mean, I guess it's kind of exciting for you guys to see me light this thing, so you can kind of see in a couple of heat come here. We're getting some starting or like some of this coal to burn a little bit. This is actually very similar to lighting a like a charcoal in a way. At least this method of doing that. There are other methods that are a little bit, more traditional, like you can hammer and use friction to light your forge with the ability to do that. I just can't hammer fast enough without getting way too tired to do it. There's a couple other methods. My kindling always burns up before I'm able to get it started. I've Alrighty. It's going to take a little bit of time for the flames to start shooting up. So let me take a look at what's going on here in chat. Hey, Mahalo. Hey, Pyrex. Corwin, hello. The steam is always lit, as the kids these days say. Yep. And ad breaks. Yes. Well, it looks like the ads are done. Audio is stuttering. Check your ratio mic. Ever try adding a small amount of charcoal briquettes to get it started? The reason that I tend not to do charcoal bricks is because I'm always hesitant to add anything that is going to that has the possibility of contaminating the coal forge. The charcoal briquettes that I normally have, I mean, I know that, like, the smoking briquettes that they have that are like the wooden ones, those would be fine. But most, or those are relatively expensive around here. And so and they're a lot less plentiful. So most of the charcoal around my area is actually like the ones that already have a lighter fluid in it. And that's not so great. All right, well, I guess I'm just going to have a tilted table. So we're going to put this down here. But yeah, so there's the chat, it's a little bit bigger on this new monitor. But there's a little bit of a glare between my safety glasses and the monitor. So I kind of have to be all squinty looking at it. So I apologize for that. If I look a little bit weird, that's why I'm trying to read chat. All right, so we've got a decent fire going at the moment. It looks like we're going to have a bit of heat. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on today. So this is our axe jacket right here. And we've got a nice U shape, and we got this U shape on Wednesday. So today what we're going to do is we're going to take this bit, which is going to be the, I guess the blade of the axe, and we're going to forge weld it right in here like so. So it'll look kind of like that. So you might be able to see, I don't know if you can from the wide shot, that I've actually ground this a lot. And so I've gotten a lot of the scale out of here already. You can kind of see that there. So we're going to kind of you know, forge weld this in like so. But the first thing that we have to do is we need to bring these two edges together, so that we can kind of pinch this in there and forge weld it in. I need to make sure this holds, and so we're going to close up this gap a little bit. So I'm going to put this over here, and I'm going to take these tongs, and we're actually going to put it in the fire on the butt end of it, so that we can kind of get that nice heat around this section here, and get that nice fold in there. After we've gotten as much as possible on this base end, we will heat up this section and close it completely. So here we go. We're going to heat up this piece of steel. If I can get it in here right. Okay, there's that. And now we cover it with some nice coal so that we maintain that heat in there. All right. So I'm super excited to be out here today in the shop, or I guess outside of the shop, doing the coal forge again. I wasn't sure that we were actually going to be able to come out here, but my partner had an extra day off, and so we figured we might as well stream the forge welding, because it's going to happen we were going to have to do this out in the carport anyway. So we figured we would stream it. It was either today or Saturday. So yeah, we decided to do it today. So hopefully this guy will heat up relatively fast and we can get all nice and started. So our last time we attempted this, I made a big mistake. And that mistake was not really researching enough. And it cost me a day of forging. And well, actually it cost me several days of here at the coal forge, and then correcting all of the mistakes that I ended up making because of that main mistake. So I believe that we are back to a point where, we can get this forge welded. The mistake was not a catastrophic mistake, which is always a good thing, and it could be fixed. So that is awesome. Saturday van day then. Sunday's actually going to be van day. We've got to help my sister-in-law with some projects around their house, and then after that, so on Sunday, we'll be able to work on the van. So yes, van day. We will be working on the van. So I've got a nice ring of coal around the coked fire, and that is starting to coke up that coal, so that we'll be able to maintain our high heat for that forge weld. So that is super exciting. So I got to keep real good track of the heat and how much or how hot the steel is getting. I don't have any liquid right now. I could definitely use some liquid. Thank you. Whew. The smoke's swirling around. So we had a decent amount of fun fixing the mistake over the past week, but I'm really glad to be back out here to attempt this forge weld. This is probably my first forge weld attempt in a decade at least. So it could, it could be a little bit of effort for me to get this taken care of. I have a hand file. We might be using these to get, or this to get some of the scale off later on. I am uncertain, depending on how much scale develops on this piece. Good job, Butler. Yes. All right. So yeah, I think I have most of it, most of this set up and ready to go. There's always a chance that I will have forgotten something or other. But yeah, I'm hoping that this works, that I don't make it into a catastrophic failure, and we're gonna make this happen, or at least I'm gonna try to make this happen. I'm gonna give myself a little bit of a confidence or of a confidence boost, and we are gonna do this. Any flux use in the welding process? Yes, we will be using flux. This right here is 21 mule team borax. I always say that really, really fast, and then it never comes out right. So this is located, you can buy this at your local grocery store or whatever, or I guess, your box store. This is in the laundry aisle. I don't even know what this does for laundry necessarily, but for forge welding, this powder, it will melt and glass over top of the steel and keep all of the oxides out of there. So once we get this a little bit closer to closed, I'll start putting the flux on it, and it will clean the metal a little bit, not entirely. So we still don't want to gain any scale, or we want to gain as less scale as possible. We want to prevent scale as much as possible, so that we don't have to use as much flux. Because also the flux itself will prevent a forge weld if it gets in there. And I just closed this. I probably shouldn't have. That way it's all nice and in there. All right, let's see. What do we got here? How good is this heat? A little bit longer, I think. And we should be ready to start closing this up. It's a common ingredient in homemade laundry detergent. Oh, that makes sense. I think I have heard that, that is what people will use it for. But for whatever reason, I always thought that maybe it was used for, or like almost similar to like starch, like when you starch your clothes to make them stiff. I don't know why. That a Mario Kart in the back. Oh, that's actually a lawnmower. It's a riding lawnmower. It is kind of a really, really old one from the 90s. It doesn't even function. Back behind it is the mower deck, and I need to weld it back onto the chassis, and I haven't gotten around to it yet, so that's what that is. All right, how are we doing in there? We're starting to get there. I have now magnetized my coal rake. All right. I'm going to put those over there. We're going to do our first heat. Are you ready for that? So we're going to pull this out of the forge. Oh, it's actually still really cool. So I thought that we were going to be all right, but if you look at that, It's kind of on the cool side. So we're going to stick this back in here like so. I'm sorry, guys. I got your hopes up. I was looking at the top energy and not the bottom. All right. So I guess we're going to be tending this fire a little bit longer. Skip the deck and make it a cart. You'll need a campground vehicle with your van. I mean, maybe, but I mean, how would I transport it? If I'm putting a bed in the back, that takes up all of the room. I'd have to hook up like a trailer or something. And I mean, maybe that's a possibility at some point. You know, our van be a toy hauler. Hitch a cargo carrier. Yes, a toy hauler. Turn the van into a toy hauler. Although the kind of toys that I would want to haul with it are like power hammers and anvils and things like that. Equally as heavy, but kind of, in a different way. All right, so we're getting a lot more heat now. I think what happened is I actually dug the piece of steel in a little bit too low. And so all of the bottom coal, it like bottomed out and there was no heat below it. So that's why it was taking so long and not getting hot. I'm still like not amazingly good at, the coal forging. You could build one of those. I could build one of those. A toy hauler, like a wagon, or I could even build a power hammer if I put my mind to it. It wouldn't be as nearly as good if I didn't go to a class. I think though, that's why I haven't done it myself. I need to actually get into a class. That and I don't have a space for it right now. All right, let's take a look at this now. Okay, we've got much more heat. I'm pretty happy with this. I think we'll actually be able to do our first heat, our first hammering. You ready? Whew. We're starting to get there. You can kind of see now that it's starting to get a little bit closer together. So we've got plenty of space to put this guy in there. So we are going to, next what we're going to do is we're going to heat up the lips of this duckbill so that we can kind of shove this guy in there and get it ready to forge weld in there. So we're looking at this positioning, and I'm hoping that it'll work pretty well. Looking pretty good. I've got a nice big piece of clinker right there that I need to get out of here before I... Put those on the edge so I don't accidentally stick them back in the fire. I'm trying to read your name there. Back to it. Hey Ray, maybe too many Forge and Fire episodes, but I thought Fire Forge was known for burning steel very quickly. This seems kind of gentle. So I'm not amazingly good at tending to my fire, and I'm also incredibly impatient. And both of those are factors that make it really difficult for me to burn my steel. I am much more likely to pull it before it's ready than I would be to burn my steel. And I mean, maybe that's fortunate, maybe that's not. It does mean, though, that I don't actually get as much work done when I am using a coal forge because I am kind of afraid of burning my steel. But I mean, yeah, coal forging is a little bit easier to burn your steel. And we are getting to the point right in there. You can kind of see those sparklers coming off of our steel. That is actually the beginnings of it burning, which is why I flipped it over so that I can make sure we get an even heat on both the top and the bottom. So high carbon steel, when you can see it, the carbon burning out of it, it shoots off like sparklers. I'm gonna put this right there. And we are going to be pulling this out very shortly because I do not want to burn it. All right, we're gonna do this right here, just like so. I'm gonna put this in here like that. And I shot it out. So I'm gonna need to open that up just a little bit so that I can get that in there. So it's probably gonna take me a couple heats to get this in here. Hot. Also hot. I need a set of tongs, or not a set of tongs, a set of gloves. Butler. All right, we're gonna heat this up again. But before we do that, I'm actually gonna put a little bit of flux on here, just to keep kind of the scale out of here. So that's what that kind of looks like. It's all that, see all that bubbling there? All right. Put that back in there. So this is going to take me a little bit of time to get this kind of lined up in there. So we're going to do our best. But this is where things can and probably will start happening. I need a right hand. To put this in here. Just like so. So this is also where I'm going to end up having to spend a lot of time tending the fire. So I apologize for that. I'll try to give you guys a blow-by-blow of everything that I'm thinking while I'm doing it in case I can't talk to you guys. Maybe I will answer your questions. If you have any really pressing questions, I think my partner can probably field them to me. Anything good aside from an ad popping up? Or are we on ad time right now? Is that what's happening? Huh? We just to go for our material. Welcome in, Bluesy. Welcome in. What? And a bot. Oh, yay, bots. I will rely on you guys, King and Mahalo. If you guys could ban bots, that would be amazing. You guys are great at that, though. I don't think I really need to, like, worry too much about that. But like I said, this is kind of going to be a little bit of a... Let's see, can I... I want to open this a little. That's not working the way I want it to, but that's all right. This is what I was afraid of, guys. This is what I was afraid of. There we go. All right. So that's what we want to see. So I'm going to put this back in the forge. I think we're going to do it this way. Like so. All right. Hey, 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 Bluesy, welcome in. Yeah, Twitch recently cracked down on bots. It is kind of weird that they are still here, but I don't think they actually cracked down on all of the bots, if that makes sense. What? I can't hear you. You're an ad break. Oh, I can see that. I'm gonna take these off because I can't hear shit. Can you hear me now? Right? Yeah, I can't really hear very well right now. And so, yeah, I'm doing my very best. But I'm having some issues here right now. So we are trying to get an even flame and an even heat on this entire thing. So we will be doing a couple of flips as we go. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to kind of judge when the ads are coming. Unfortunately. And things are going to start going a little bit on the quick side right now. So I apologize, but we're going to get this done. We'll be flipping this a couple times and making sure that we don't burn any of the areas on this bit or on the jacket. I'm going to need some more coal. There are 2 bags in the shop. They will be careful. They'll probably burst open. I've had this coal for like ages and ages. And so it is a little bit. All right. So we got to be a little bit careful there. As we go, we're going to add some flux to this. And I'm not amazingly good with flux, so we're going to do our very, very best to get this nice and in there. Welcome in, Ping. Welcome in, Panji. Thank you so much for joining us. We are getting ready to, or we're trying to heat up the steel so that we can start forge welding it. I'm moving the fan because I want it to move the smoke out of the way, but I don't want it to cool down our steel too fast. This is going to be really tricky, guys. Whoa. Not what I wanted to see, guys. That's not what I wanted to see. Gooey. Way too gooey. I think I'm going to have to heat up the back end again We may end up having to replace this piece, the bit. It's being a little bit meh. It's not quite in there right. So I need to heat up the back end of it a little bit further. Because that's not working the way I need it to. It's going to take a little bit for me to get this taken care of, or I guess to get this together, because I'm not amazingly good at this. So we're going to add some more coal, because we got a lot of dust and not much in the coal department. Ouch. There we go. That's better. I'm going to move these big old chunks over here. This is what I really like seeing, is larger chunks of coal. The smaller chunks of coal, they don't work as well. They don't burn as long. But these big chunks here, they do. We won't have to pull as much clinker out from these.
What kind of coal do you use?
I use Bitmus coal. So Bitmus coal is actually like blacksmithing coal, and it burns a little bit cleaner than the coal that you would use to heat your house back, ages ago, when we still used coal to heat our houses. This coal actually also it has the ability to coke up housing coal for, for heating your home. It does not coke up like it needs to. Coke for the win, yes. Nice and warm. Nice and warm. I'm getting a lot of like nasty dirt all over the bit. So I'm not thrilled about that. We'll have to clean it. Goodness gracious. I'm going to pull this piece out of here because it's starting to burn, and I do not want that to happen. They are, haha. I guess it's not starting to burn. All right, I guess that'll be all right for the moment. Ah. All right, cool. I'm going to need to heat this side so that we can kind of bring that down some more. We're going to cover that up. I need to put my headphones on again. That was really loud. So yeah, guys, I'm sorry that I'm a little bit quiet today. I'm really having to pay attention to this coal because it is super finicky. I'm going to put that right there and this right here. Those can go back there. All right, cool. Or I could drop everything. That works too. When I pull this out next time, I'm going to want to pull out all of the clinker that's out of here. I definitely want to make sure that I get rid of that. I lost my S-hook. All right. Let's try this again. Son of a mother monkey. That would happen. All right, so this is way too filthy to forge weld in here at this time. So I'm going to have to clean that off. Same with this guy. These are getting really filthy. You're going to have to clean it off as best as possible. I think I'll try that again in a little bit. Oh, I know what's happening. This is melting. All right, so we're going to get rid of the clinker in there first. Do I see any? Bottom, there's some clinker. That right there. And then we'll add that back in there. And then pull this like so. And I want this side here to go in there. So this is really, really like filthy. And that's not good. That side's not too bad, but this side is particularly filthy. I'm trying to clean this off right now as best as I possibly can so that it'll actually weld. Right now, there's a lot of dirt and filthy on here, and That's going to make it really hard for the two pieces of metal to adhere together. So there's going to be a lot of like holes and things. So we're doing our best to clean that off. It really doesn't help that this guy is like super, super thin. So it heats up quite a bit. All right, I'm going to put that right there for the moment. That's going to go over there, and this. I'm going to take a look at it. Okay. All right, that's much better on that side. All right, so a lot of that is just our borax melting. Sorry for all of the cursing today. I will do my very best to bleep those out for the YouTube video. I'm sorry, guys. You're kind of seeing a little bit of a more of a real Ray today because I have a lot less brain width for censoring my language. I apologize. All right. I'm going to stick this in this direction so that we can kind of crush that a little bit, maybe. I don't know. I'm having a little bit of trouble at this point. I think do what I want it to. Kind of want to heat the whole thing, but it's kind of a large piece, so it's going to make it a little bit more difficult to do. Move over here so that I can move some of this coal over this direction. There's a lot more cooked coal on this side right now. You do not have to move that camera. I will be right back over to this side. Okay, cool. All right, I should have a little bit of time. Well, you can get even the dirtiest coal to coke up, but the way to do it is to put a low oxygen, high temp environment. The dirt will burn. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. All right. That's much cleaner. Theoretically, we should be able to get this to stick. In theory, that is. Or I could get it to drop on the ground. Haha. There we go. It's just a question of ergonomics, I guess, yeah. Can you wire wheel that insert, or is that debris really hard? I mean, I could definitely use a wire wheel on it. I don't have like a good one set up right now. But I definitely could. And if I had been planning well, I would have. I definitely would have. But sometimes you remember things and sometimes you don't, you know? All right. We're getting there. I need to open that just a little bit so that we can get this guy inside there. But I want to make sure that we've got plenty of space so that we can actually squish that together. And I think we do at this point. All right. All right. Better. All right. So yeah, this is gonna just take a little bit of time to get this all nice and set up. Okay. I will be right back. I don't think you guys can actually see what's going on because I've got that going on. I will be right back. So right now what I'm actually doing is grinding this bit just to make sure it's nice and clean. It's a little bit cleaner, but it's kind of hot and I don't have things taken care of. All right. Okay. All right. Let me see if I can't get some chat. The plume of white smoke is used to indicate the finding of the new butler when the old one dies. I don't know about that. The butler is not the Pope. I kind of feel like the butler is entertaining you guys a little bit. Because this is a little bit challenging. All right. New plan. I do need to open this just a hair. But what we're going to do is we're going to grab a Chisel. And we're going to open it with a chisel. I think we're going to open it with a chisel. If I haven't accidentally forge welded it together already, it looks like I might have like started right there. Interesting. All right. All right, we're going to open it with a chisel, then we're going to stick the bit in, and then from there we're going to start trying again to forge weld it. Is this a chisel? No, that's a punch. I will be right back. Oh, goodness. Here's the chisel. This one's easy.
Little Bird Creations.
What?
Little Bird Creations.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Little Bird Creations, for the follow. Thank you so much. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the community. Right now I am attempting to forge weld a couple pieces of steel together. It's taken me a little bit of extra time. I'm not amazingly good at it right this second. Or I'm not doing amazingly good at it right this second. But I'm doing my best. Maybe I should have put it in the vise. I think I might put it in the vise. So that I can open this up a little easier without it moving on me. Or it's going to move anyway. Shoot. You know what, guys? I think I need to work on actually holding the material. I am so bad at doing that. Holding material. What? Okay. All right. Yeah, I figured we were in ad break. This is probably an interesting stream, but it is also kind of like I'm a very distracted streamer today. So I apologize, guys. I am a very distracted streamer today. I'm doing my best, but this coal forge takes a lot of my attention. I'm not used to not being really attentive to you guys. And I know that you guys understand. Especially you guys who are actually my regulars and stuff. So thank you guys for all of your support. You guys are amazing. There we go. I think we are finally getting to a point where you might see some sparks.
No, stay behind me.
Huh?
No, stay behind me.
Oh, okay. 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 Let's see. What do we got? Yeah, of course. I'm wanting to expand my skills, but I want to learn from someone who is doing it. Even if you're learning or struggling, I wish you the best regardless. I'm the same. ADHD kicks my ass. I want 100% attention right now. Just kidding. Yeah, right. So yeah, I've been blacksmithing for about 10 years, and so I do have a lot of knowledge about this stuff, but I also took like a 5-year break. And it's not quite like riding a bicycle. Like I know all of the stuff, but getting myself to like actually do it is very difficult. Or can be very difficult. And so while I am somewhat decent at it, I am also like rusty. And I've also been particularly working on things that are really outside of my wheelhouse. Ordinarily, when I was like, before I took my break, I did a lot of furniture. And my furniture used a lot of different techniques than the stuff that I'm using right now. So it's just kind of differenty. So I'm doing my best, and I am relearning a lot of stuff and learning some new things. This is actually one of my bucket list projects. I very much have always wanted to make an axe, but I've never gotten around to it. I've made a couple like knives and things like that, but a lot of that is grinding, and I had some help. So now I'm kind of doing things a lot on my own, and a lot of trial and error. But it's all right, because you know what? People enjoy realness too. And just because I'm struggling doesn't mean other people aren't struggling and people don't want to watch it. So content is content. A rusty blacksmith. Just got the knock rust scale off. Yes, I do. A rusty blacksmith. High carbon. Yes, I am a high carbon blacksmith. I'm really hard and strong. Something to that effect. So I'm putting a little bit too. When I was putting some of the flux on, I was putting too much on. So you don't actually want to watch it bubble up. You kind of want to dust it on. Because if it bubbles up, then it just becomes like gummy substance, and it's nasty, and it promotes dirt. And I need to remember that. Like I said, I'm a little bit rusty, so things are starting to come back to me as I make the mistakes. We're not going to make near the mistakes that we made on or like a week ago Friday, because I have learned from those mistakes, but we're going to make a brand new set of mistakes. And Yeah. So we're going to have to work through those. As best we can. So the brand new set of mistakes that I'm making is I am struggling because what I did, or I put too much flux on. And so when I attempted to put the bit inside of the bill of this X, it was like sliding around because it was just sliding on like the glass, right? And so instead of sticking, it was just moving. And so I need to remember not to overflux my pieces. Jerkos, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the community. We are ordinarily in the shop over there. I have, a garage as a shop, and today we're out here doing some forge welding. My gas forge doesn't get hot enough to do good forge welds inside, so I kind of have to set up the coal forge for it. But I'm also really unfamiliar, or I don't remember a lot of what I learned about coal forges over time. I just don't remember as much because I spent so much time on gas. Even when I was in my prime blacksmithing, I was more of a more of a gas blacksmith than a coal blacksmith. So I'm kind of, at a disadvantage. But we're going to get there. It might just take a little bit of time. All right.
How deep is your coal pot?
My coal pot is actually made out of a brake rotor. And so it is as deep as a brake rotor is. So it would be probably an inch or two deep. Which is really, really deep. Too deep, actually. But a lot of people end up using them anyway. You know what? If I could get this to stick on one side, I could use the... I'm going to have to do this again. If I could get this to stick on one side, then I could use this guy to close it in there. So yeah, my coal pot is probably about yay deep. Like from the edge of the coal itself. So the interior of the pot is about yay deep. And it goes a little bit deeper than that because it does go down towards the clinker breaker. So in the center, it's probably about yay thick. Towards the edges, it's about yay thick. And the table isn't actually part of the coal pot itself. Let's see if I can't pick up my stuffies. There it is. All right, if I get this ready, I should be able to work it. Work it, work it. That fan feels really good. Yay, a perfectly scientific measurement. I know, right? I mean, I'm an American. I don't like using American measurements anyway, right? Anything not to use a mile. What did they say? What did I see on the news the other day? I saw on the news that there was a meteor half the size of a giraffe heading towards Earth. And I'm like, what do you mean half the size of a giraffe? Which half? Son of a monkey. Son of a monkey's uncle. That did not work the way I wanted it to. It almost worked. Yeah, it's not working the way I want it to. Awesome. All right, well, I'm going to heat this back up again. All right. All right, guys. All right, guys. It's the live curse. I'm going to claim it's the live curse, and it's really my ineptitude. Right? It's because I tried to forge weld my very first time in like a decade on stream, right? Dang, you got a butler now? I do have a butler. I don't have our. I'm not a monkey. So yeah, I'm really trying hard here, guys. But yeah, I'm not doing an amazing job here. This is probably going to take me extra time. So I'm not sure how long this is going to take. Once we get this forge welded, though, it'll probably be by the time at the end of the stream, like my normal stream, because it is taking me that long to kind of do this. But we shall see if I can't make this happen this stream. If I had been smart, maybe I would have done this in the gas forge, or like I guess stuck it in the gas forge and then welded it with the welder so that way I could, actually just forge weld it, kind of like people do when they are working on Damascus steel. However, I guess I didn't think about that because that's not how that's not how you are supposed to forge weld things. And I wanted to do it the way, I'm supposed to do it. But I think it probably would have been better for both you and I had I cheated a little bit. Okay.
Sorry I'm not forging, but shouldn't you heat the two pieces together? Question mark.
What?
Sorry I'm not forging, but shouldn't you heat the two pieces together?
Yes, I should beat the two pieces together. I haven't gotten to the point where I can stick the two pieces together yet, right? So right now, I'm just trying to get the two pieces of the bill to hold on to the centerpiece, because once it holds and affixes, then I will be able to heat the entire area and forge weld them together. Hey, Bungalow Glow. Oh my God, Blacksmith on Twitch. Yes, thank you so much for that follow. Gay Cheeto Puff. As a worshiper of Hephaestus, I'm excited to find this. Yeah, there are several of us actually actively on Twitch. I am one of a few. But I think that I am one of the more regular blacksmiths on Twitch that is, all right, cool. On the US side of things, a lot of the Twitch blacksmiths are actively in Europe. It would be nice if this would work, but it's not wanting to. All right. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I weld this together in the other room and then bring it back over? That is my next, the next thing that I'm thinking about doing, because this is not working right, not even a little. I think I'm going to try one more thing and then I will see what happens. We're going to heat the back up and see if I can't affix this from the back, or like squish it from the back, because right now these front aren't wanting to go together. So we're going to try one more thing, and then I'm going to go into the shop. I'm going to weld it in there. That way we could just forge weld it and we don't have to worry about it slipping, because I want to make sure that this gets together. So we're going to cheat a little bit if this does not work. Yes, a tack weld would certainly make it easier. Yes, it would. I want to get into blacksmithing. I feel like I'd have fun getting my anger out and making something cool in the process. Yes, it is. Corwin is right. It is pretty cheap and easy with a relatively simple setup. You can actually forge on just a big hunk of metal, and a hammer, and a pair of pliers, or a vice grip as a tong, and your first project can be a set of tongs. So yeah, we could do that, or you could do that. I do recommend that if you are looking at learning to be a blacksmith, that instead of attempting to do it on your own, that you look up the Abana website, abana.com. They have a find a blacksmith and find an affiliate link on their website. They are the Artist Blacksmith Association of North America. And the blacksmithing community is incredible. They absolutely love teaching people the craft. And so it is going to be so easy for you to join or to like go to a Abana affiliate meeting, hook up with a blacksmith, and learn whatever you want to learn. And I always recommend that for new blacksmiths, just so that they don't end up spending more money on things that they don't want to do or they don't need or they don't like. There's nothing worse than buying thousands of dollars of blacksmithing equipment and going out your first time and finding out you hate it. Not that I think you'll hate blacksmithing, but it does happen occasionally. I sadly have nowhere in my property to forge. My dad's car stays in the garage and we have a tiny driveway. But once I move out, I'm absolutely getting into it. Yes. Yes. So yeah, there are blacksmith Abana affiliates all across the world, even in Europe. Abana is affiliated with BABA, which is the British Blacksmith Association, as well as the Australian Blacksmith Association. I believe that there are other blacksmith associations in continental or like in the European Union that are also affiliated with Abana, but I'm not positive on which ones. And those are just the two that I'm aware of. I actually have a few friends who are in the British Blacksmith Association. That's good to know. Yeah. It's really interesting. I very much enjoy blacksmithing. It's a little bit on the cheaper side, comparatively speaking, to being a silversmith or a jeweler. Because a lot of that actually ends up costing a lot of money to get started, and the materials are ridiculously expensive nowadays. All right, how are we doing? Definitely needing to pull some clinker out of the bottom of this forge. Where is my clinker? Right there. Ah! That's better. Man, my sinuses are going crazy. There we go. I feel like I need to sneeze, guys. I feel like I need to sneeze. That's much better. We're gonna get more heat, more consistent heat there. Oh, goodness gracious. This is a lot of effort. Ordinarily, when I am forging with the gas forge, I can kind of take a little bit of a break, and it's a little bit more relaxing. That's another thing that I'm gonna say. I mean, coal is the safer option to begin with, but gas is the more relaxing version of blacksmithing. So it's kind of, but it's a little bit more dangerous. You have a much greater chance of accidentally burning something down. So you gotta, be very careful, know what you're doing when you start a gas forge. All right, that's much, much more better. All right, so it's nice and stuck in there now. That's exactly what I wanted to see. So we're gonna push this out just a little bit. Or at least we're gonna try and push it out a little bit. There it is. Whoopsie. So we are now at a point where we can actually start forge welding this together. So I don't have to cheat right now. I think that I'll be able to not have, or I won't have to cheat. Which, it's not really cheating, all in all. There we go. All right, so what we've got, you see what we've got now? It's all nice and in that bill. So now what we need to do is we need to heat this entire area up to a forge welding temperature. And see if we can't get it to stick. So we're gonna do this a little bit, with a little bit less. Of the flux. We're gonna, you know. What? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Before I stick this in the forge, I'm going to pull out anything that's nasty in here. We're finally at a point where we can forge weld this. So we've got to make sure that the fire is nice and clean. No clinker in here. All right. I'm going to put that there. Black Bear Forge has several videos on getting into blacksmithing on a budget, from a simple hole in the ground to a sledgehammer. Yes. Yes. Ahoy, Jack! We're in the middle of an ad, so I'm saying ahoy, and people probably aren't even seeing it. Or hearing it, I guess. Or they may or may not be hearing it. Nope, 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 nope. You're moving again. I don't want you to move. Shit. Distractions. Nope, 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 nope. You don't want to do that. See if we can't get this to go in the next couple of heats. Hey, you guys. I believes in it. Yes. I'm hoping. I'm really trying hard to get this to go. But right now, my problem is that it's wanting to open up, and the bit is wanting to shimmy in there. If I'd have been smart, I would have cheated and just tack welded it. But you know, I wanted to do things correctly. What are you talking about? Butler dear?
Oh, they asked if I was changing the flame angle.
Yes.
I'm not accepting. Any complaints, you can direct them my way.
Huh?
Any complaints, you can direct them my way.
I can't hear. I'm sorry. Give me a second. I need to like get a full heat. Like the entirety of this thing, I need it all to be heated. But right now I'm having issues because I don't have a big enough fire going, I think. So I need to, whoops. I need this whole thing going. I believe. All right. Corwin mentioned earlier putting some dimples or barbs into it makes it more. Yes, it definitely does. I think if I can't make this go pretty soon, we're gonna cheat a little bit. We are going to maybe tack weld it, maybe put some dimples in. I haven't decided quite yet. But I'm only gonna do a couple more attempts at, you know, doing this the correct way, and then I'm just gonna do it a way that I know that it's gonna happen. Because, you know, I want to make sure that this happens and that you guys get to see it and stuff. Also, I want to get this axe done, you know? We've been at this for so long. Alright, that's a giant piece of clinker. Alright. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know, guys. We're not going to get this forge welded this way, I don't think. So, what time is it, Butler?
3:14.
3:14. Okay. All right, so at this point, this guy is way too nasty and filthy for me to get a clean forge weld. Forge welding only happens when you have really clean metals, and this is definitely not clean. So, what we're gonna do, because like this would not forge weld even if I attempted it, even if it was cooperating with me, it would not forge weld. All right. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the angle grinder. I'm gonna grind I'm gonna grind it so that it is clean again. And then tack weld it. And then we will see about finishing off this weld. I think I should have done this to begin with, but I didn't. I didn't think about it. All right. So, I'll be right back. All right. I need a power drop. Sure. go. I think I'm alright. Okay, cool. I think that was the piece of steel and not the post, right? Alright, guys.
So Sandwich came in and is asking what's going on.
I am getting ready to cheat on this forge weld. I'm going to use my welder to tack weld this together so that I can continue to forge weld it. So that's kind of what's happening at the moment. I will be right back. I'm going to tack this real fast. Probably. Oh. Hey, my multi-tool. What'd I do with it? It's right there. The hell? What is going on? It is not working right. Why? Why are you being dumb? There it goes. Did it work? Is it tacked? Maybe. Alright, it's tacked. with the ugliest check I've ever made in my entire life. Right there. All right. Let's see if we can't get this.
Probably need to update the concession.
Okay. All right. So right now I'm trying to clean out the pot. So this entire stream, what's been happening is I have been struggling to close this axe jacket over top of this axe bit that I've created. And this is my first attempt at making an axe, so I've made a lot of major mistakes with it. So I just got done tack welding this in place. So now this bit won't start moving around. It'll make it a lot easier for me to forge weld it in place. It's really ugly, and I'm going to have to do a lot of grinding in order to get this to work. But we're going to be able to go in there, and we're just going to be able to forge weld this, hopefully. This could also just mean I'm not going to get it forge welded. There is that chance as well. And if that's the case, then maybe I need to look at doing a different project next and readdressing this axe at a different time. Because I've been having quite a lot of problems with it. So we're going to try until the end of the stream, and if I can't get this guy to stick, we're going to move on, and I'll just reassess this as a project. We'll probably push it back and do a punched axe instead of this, and we will save forge welding for later. I'll probably do some practice forge welding on my own when it's going to be a little bit easier. Not that you guys aren't amazing, and I enjoy doing things for or with you guys, but I need some practice, maybe forge welding a little bit better, or doing it. Get a few successful forge welds under my belt before I attempt it again. We'll see if it happens. It still could happen. All right, we're going to start heating that up again, and I'm going to answer any direct questions.
It goes back a little bit.
I'm sure it does. Hey, guys. Hey, Yankee. Okay, so what do we got as far as questions? I recommend cutting the steel to match the iron. Yeah. I thought the grinder was already cheating a little, but the result or the learning justifies the means, I guess. The grinder isn't too big of a cheat. Because I had already started using it. Super zoom spy cam. Old timey Smiths would definitely have used a grinder and a welder. Yeah. So what is next? Fireworks. Oh, did you show them me welding? Oh, okay. Firework, or what has to be an emote? Is it the welding that needs to be an emote? So there is value in traditional methods when making a traditional tool. There really is, but I am not that sort of smith. I've already used a press on this piece, so it's not that there's not value in it, but it's kind of, use what you need to, or what you have. I need a lot of compensation because I don't have a lot of stamina because I have a chronic illness. So, I mean, yeah, it would be better if I did this completely traditionally, and it would be cooler too. And there is value in that, but I just can't make it happen this time. And yes, sandwich, the weld will melt off, or it has a chance of melting off. But it shouldn't melt off until I have enough heat that I can stick the weld. So it should be stuck enough for me to get it ready. What tools did you use in making that axe? All of them. Yes, you want a welding emote. Okay. Whoa. I am apparently ripping. I need a new apron, guys. I just ripped open my apron. That's awesome. We'll get one in a few, I guess. They're like 20 bucks at Harbor Freight, so I'll just get another one. Or maybe I'll get a better one. So yeah, I mean, I've used all kinds of aids for this particular project. And you know, like I said, it's my first attempt. I've made a lot of mistakes. Nothing terribly catastrophic, but enough that it's going to make it really, really hard for me to finish this project. I will be starting a new project on Monday, regardless of what happens today. We're going to start doing a hot cut for the Hardy right here. I have a bunch of Hardy tools for a different anvil, but not this anvil. Actually, the anvil that I have all the Hardy tools for is right over there. It's under a blue tarp. It's kind of ugly. All right, let me dig in here and see what is going on with this fire. It's not wanting to. Okay. I'm not seeing a lot of air. So yeah, I think I've learned quite a bit from this project, but I don't think it's going to be a successful project at this point. It's filthy, it's not working, it's just not wanting to stick, but I will try it a couple more times. Oh, come on. That would help too, guys. Oh my goodness, I forgot to close my air gate. That would help. Alrighty. So yeah, learning experience. We can learn things from failure too. There's still a chance, a little bit of hope. Not a lot, but we'll try. That immediately looks quite a bit better. Yeah. Have I tried forge welding it yet? No. Hansa had trouble with his forge welding a bit also. Someone mentioned it could be the types of steel they had and some other metals in them. I haven't even gotten to the point where I've attempted to forge weld it because I've been fighting the keeping the bit in there, which is why I welded it in there. So right now, this steel is so filthy from the weld flux from just coal from scale that it's going to make it really, really hard for it to stick. The whole point, or I guess not the whole point, but like one of the major things that makes a forge weld stick is actually, you know, having clean metal. And right now, I do not have clean metal. We'll see if we can't clean it a little bit with the flux. Probably not enough. But you never know. We may yet get this. I guess I'm just like preparing myself for failure at this point. More than anything. But yeah, I haven't even gotten to the forge welding section of this project. Because I've just been struggling that hard. Just do it. The struggles are real. Yes, definitely. Definitely the struggles are real. We're gonna do it. We're gonna try it. Whether it happens or not, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna try it. Did I miss something? Oh, try cutting the edges of the steel bit. I read that one. Slowly heating it up like this while fluxing it may end up cleaning it enough that we might get a stick. The snuggles are also real. Yes. Snuggles are real. I've missed Ping giving me a cheer. Thank you so much, Ping, for that cheer. Ping's a subscriber. We're good. Thank you, though. We are currently in an ad break, so I'm kind of like trying to evenly heat this so that we don't end up overheating any sections of it. Ooh, we're getting a decent amount of a nice heat in there. I'm starting to see the colors that I want to see for this forge weld. It's a little on the dark side in here, so we're going to see a little bit more colors. A little bit more in the orange to yellow side of things, because it's a little bit on the dark side. The dark side, we've got cookies. Are you going to try and get in the Forged in Fire in the future? No, I am not going to start, or I'm not going to start in Forged in Fire. And because I just don't have the stamina to do it, the amount of effort and stamina that the competitors use is unreal. I would not be able to handle it. I just don't have the stamina for it myself. All right. We're getting there. We're getting there. Where's my... There it is. I have friends that was in Forged in Fire, and for a while I really wanted to, but I just don't I don't have it in me to do it anymore. It's just not... Not for me at this time. Okay, so what I'm actually looking for when I'm forge welding is when I put the flux on the piece of steel, what I'm looking for is for the heat to melt it as such that it starts creating an orange peel texture, right? So you kind of see those little tiny bubbles. It's very like slick and a nice bright shiny sheen, but it's got little bubbles in it. That's what I'm looking for when I'm attempting to forge weld this. So that's what I'm looking for. Welcome to the dark side. Yes. We get a stick. I thought you were making an axe. Yeah, I am making an axe. But I need a stick for the axe, right? I need a stick to go through the hole. All right. So we are almost there. What did I do with my... There it went. Almost there. Look at that. It's nice and clean now. It all came off. So we have a shot at this. It might happen. It's nice and clean now. All right. I'm going to put flux on it one more time, and we're totally going for this. This next time, we're going for it. All right. Next heat, we're going to do this. All right, so that's going to go away. That's going to go away. This here, that there. All right. I'm looking through a hole that's in, or that's currently in the coal. We're getting really, really close to that orange peel skin. Yes, exactly what I want to see. Inside there. Little bit longer and we should be there. We're getting real close, so I'm kind of keeping an eye on it because all I want to do, or all I don't want to do, is burn it. This is a really hairpin trigger. I could easily burn this as opposed to forge welding it. All right. Am I seeing what I want to see? Am I seeing it? Yes. All right. Need to pull this out of here. We're going to do another round of that. What we want to see is all of this cooling at the same rate. So we've gotten an initial tack on there. So that's a really good thing to see. We might just make this. That's awesome. That looks so good. A whole coal hole. Yes. So yeah, that's exactly what we wanted to see. We wanted to see that spray uh, of flux everywhere. We wanted to make sure, we wanted to see that orange peel skin. You can kind of see that it is starting to stick. We're going to want to do a few more uh, heats on this to make sure that it's going to stick. What we're looking for is for the bit and both sides of the jacket to be cooling at the same rate. If one part of it is cooling faster than the other, like where the stickiness is, that's an issue. That's a problem. That means it's not sticking. However, uh, we're making it happen. It's gonna happen. All right, some more. All right, there's gaps in there, so it's not quite there. I think we've got a good tech on this side, though. All right, now we want to make sure that this side is affixed. This side looks like it's affixed in a couple different places. So we're going to put a little bit more flux on it. Do a couple more heats. Really focusing in on the side that I hadn't tacked. There's definitely a giant crack there, and I want to make sure that that gets real nice and heated and that it works, that it's stuck together. All right, is that for me? Okay, cool. Does the heat look the same in person as it does in camera? No, it does not. Need a higher heat. Look for a brighter yellow. All right, I will do that. That initial heat was looking all right. The second one was, yes, it was a little bit cold. Somebody's honking their horn out there. So the heat doesn't actually look the same. I'm seeing it differently than you guys are. Actually, I think that I'm seeing it a little cold, or you guys are seeing it a little brighter. Honk if you love blacksmithing. Yes, exactly. All right, we're gonna let that sit a little bit. Little bit more. Sit and soak in that heat. I'm getting tired. I am like super impatient. That's why I'm doing this a little on the cold, or I started doing this a little on the cold side. I think we're good now. Nope, we're not. Not quite yet. Right there. I'm just really impatient. There we go.
They're asking when the steel gets too hot, does it burn or melt? And they're asking about the differences.
So a high carbon steel, the carbon is going to burn out before it starts melting. When the high carbon steel starts, or when it starts burning out, it starts creating sparklers. You can see it in the fire. It just like starts sparking up. Um, a low carbon steel is going to melt and kind of ball up. So that's kind of the difference. Eventually, a high carbon steel will also melt, but it takes a lot more time. Because of the oxide. That's why you use fire to seal the steel so it won't produce a forge scale or burn easily. Yes, that's the flux.
You have a question. You can turn up your fan speed.
No, I cannot turn up my fan speed. I also cannot turn down my fan speed. See, my problem is that I am using, so this is my fan. This is a bathroom vent fan for getting the, or relieving the steam from a shower. That is currently what I'm using as a blower for this forge. And so it's really kind of on the low side for what I'm trying to do. I do have an air gate at the bottom that allows me to kind of control it, but it's not nearly, I have forge welded with this before, but not this particular forge. Okay, I am seeing my bubblies. I'm going to wait just a little bit further, though, or a little bit longer, just because I think that. Yeah. Okay. All right, we're going to try this one more time. Oh, I have started burning it. That's what I thought. So that is what it looked like when the steel burned. Okay? So what is happening is the bit is getting too hot and the jacket is not getting hot enough. So we're not going to be able to get this to stick at all, because I can't get the jacket hot enough before the bit burns. So I'm not thinking that this is going to happen. I thought maybe for a second, but it's not looking like it's going to happen. So I'll put it in there and we'll do it again. Just to watch it burn, maybe. But yeah, we're not gonna get it to stick because if it hasn't stuck now or by now, it's not gonna. It's too dirty. I'm sorry, guys. I did say that I'm a little bit rusty at doing this. So I apologize. I'm not going to get this forge welded together. So we're kind of failing today. So what I will do is we will make another axe. It will be a drifted axe, very similar to the hammer that we made earlier this month. At the I guess the beginning of this month, the end of last month. So we're gonna make we're gonna do the series on the hot cut and the nails because that's what you guys voted for, and then we're gonna do another attempt on an axe. So that will be our project after the nails. Like I said, I'm sorry I could not get this to stick. It's just not happening. I let it get too dirty. But we will make another axe, I promise. Just maybe not this one. Next time, try to use more iron and cover the whole steel bit. This is still awesome regardless of success. Learning is the best part of your content. I hope it is. I try. This was still educational. Yes, we learned quite a bit. Both you and I. We both learned quite a bit. But yeah, it has been a fun project. And I mean, part of this also could be that I'm trying to weld 4140 to 1080. And I really don't know if those two steels are gonna weld, you know? But I mean, you can definitely see how dirty that bit is. All of that nasty blackness, that's just nasty, like scale and coal dust and just oxidation. So it's definitely not going to stick. And this side that I thought was sticking before, definitely not stuck. Maybe a little bit right there, but I don't even think there. So we're gonna play around with it for a bit longer, and then like I said, on Monday we're gonna start a new project. We'll get back to forge welding at some point. I do want to do a little bit of Damascus, but I think I need to practice a little bit. Something a little bit easier and simpler. Some known metals that I know is going to work. Is it true about what they say? Failures are content. I had never seen this before, so interesting anyway. But maybe you could actually do some test welds on stream. Just two plates forge welded together sometime, becoming anything just for the sake of it. Yeah, and that's definitely what I will be doing before I do my next attempt. I do. I think I need to do some practice before I attempt something fancy like this again. I have this thing where I have a tendency to pick the hardest way to learn something possible, and sometimes it's a complete and utter failure, and sometimes it's an amazing success. This time, it's just a complete failure. Well, maybe not a complete failure, but close. But I mean, you know, I learned a lot, and we will definitely return to forge welding at some point in the future. But for the moment, we are definitely going to put this up for a bit. But I will do some practice. Just a couple pieces, stick them together, and some known stuff that I know is gonna stick. You know, I mean, there's just regular, mild steel to mild steel that'll stick. Um, something like 1095 and 15 and 20, those are known metals, they'll stick. But yeah, regardless of the success that we had, I had a blast with you guys. And I hope you did too. Yeah, that's not even touching. That's fun. So unfortunately, this is how I leave it, I think. Not a success today, but a lesson for the future. All right. What time is it? So I think I'm going to end the stream today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm sorry we weren't able to succeed today. We'll succeed the next time. If it is not touching, it could still be remote forge weld or a remote forge weld. I mean, it could. It was a valuable attempt, yes. I wish I had your ambition. I get stuck getting up in my head, afraid to mess something up. I'm all about just like charging ahead, whether I think it's going to work or not. So, sometimes this happens and sometimes it doesn't. Thank you guys so much for joining me though. If any of you guys have I need to delay this, snooze this ad, please. Hit the snooze button. All right. So we are going to raid off. If there's anybody that you'd like to watch, please let me know. Kill the activity feed. Here, I'll do it. So if there's anybody you guys would like to watch, let me know, or raid off to. Thank you so much for joining me. Have a great weekend and a great holiday. I'm going to go to the outro. Transition. Horny Vizier, okay. Who was that? You are Fahin. Sure.